As a black, you know what we mean by a black? A black is black American, right? How did you feel when you found out that you were black? I'm Nigerian. I won't say I'm black. I'm Nigerian, right? So I really can't relate. But these stories I saw, they were really, really amazing. I want you to watch them and then tell me your own story in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share, right? Let's watch these videos. Remember that credit goes to the owners of this video, right? Thank you so much. Watch.
I remember when I turned black. Do you remember when you turned black? I mean, since we're talking about when folks turned black, I can absolutely remember when the world changed for me. I was in kindergarten, and they had begun busing the schools in Wisconsin, where I was at school, at an all-black school. This was 1975, maybe 76. And we were walking home from school, my brother and I, and there was a group of white people outside with glass bottles and sticks, and the sticks had like nails in them, and some of them had what looked like signs. I guess I know it now. And they were yelling, and there was no one there. And we were walking home, and there were children outside of myself and my brother who were trying to get home because we walked home. And I remember being called a monkey, and you're not going to school with my kids, and we don't want your black so-and-so and so-and-so over here, you N-word this and N-word that. And across the street, I could see my mother in a trench coat as she walked across the street. And it was as if her presence scared them all. And the crowd opened up like the Red Sea, and it parted for her. And she took our hands, and she said, "Hold your head up." I'll never forget that day. And when we got home, we learned we were black.
Story time. In light of recent events, I thought I would go ahead and share the story all about the day that I turned black. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, this is a joke. This is going to go somewhere. But hang on. It's not a joke. The day was April 11th, 2018. It was morning. I had just taken my son to school, and I was now back at home at my mom's house at the dining table finishing up my breakfast. My son and I had just moved back to New Mexico from California. We had planned to be there very temporarily, and then COVID laughed in our faces or coughed in it. So we had been there maybe about 6 weeks at this point, and we're staying at my mom's house. Mom's husband had already gone to work, so it was just my mom and I in the house sitting at the table. She's munching on her oatmeal and reading the newspaper. I'm sitting at the table, I'm journaling. I see my phone light up beside me. I take a look at my phone, and I have an email notification. So I go to click on the email notification, and it's from 23andMe. My heart starts pounding. My stomach is in my throat. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. The subject line is, "Your reports are ready." This is the moment I have been waiting for since I got to my mom's house in New Mexico. I excuse myself from the table, say I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I go into the bathroom, shut the door behind me, and I have a seat. I am anxiously opening up my email. At this point, I'm gonna fucking throw up. This is something that I have wanted to know my entire life, and I'm about to find out right now what the truth is. I'm sweating, palms are sweaty, heart is pounding. I click the link to go to my results, and I scroll. I see the first top of the results, which are European. I knew about that part. I wasn't worried about that. I was like, yeah. I don't care what the European is. Take me to the next part. So I scroll, and sure enough, there it is right in front of me. My other half, Sub-Saharan African. And it's clear that I am exactly who I thought I was, but I didn't ever have the clear answers to. In that moment, I realize my life has been a fucking lie. There's a lot processing, but that's the biggest part. So I say, okay, let me just clarify here. So I scroll down more just to see if there's anything else, specifically Hispanic. I look through 0% Hispanic. None whatsoever. No version of Hispanic is anywhere on my results, okay? It's 0%. It is black and white. Now, based off of these results, my dad is not my biological father. For a little bit of background, my mom is white. My dad, who raised me, is Mexican. My name is Elena. My last name is Flores. I have a very Hispanic name. I was conditioned my entire life to believe that I was half Mexican and half white. Growing up, I grew up in a very small town and there was really nobody who looked like me. The percentage of black people was very small. So you were either full black, Mexican, or white. As much as I didn't know how to express it growing up and I didn't really know how to consciously understand what I was feeling on a subconscious level, as I got older, frontal lobe did her thing and said, girl, you should probably take a DNA test because I think you are starting to figure it out. I think you're starting to figure out what everybody else has known all along. So at this point, my mom is still at the dining table, enjoying her breakfast, reading her newspaper, having no clue that the daughter who she knows is half black is in the bathroom having a fucking identity crisis at the age of 31. That's right, I was 31 when I found out this information. I'm still just trying to process the information that I just read, and I'm reading it over and over again. So, like, if you ever taken a pregnancy test and it turns up positive and you're like you're like, but really, like, you know, but you're still like, this is like, it's so surreal, right? Like, this has just made it 1,000 times real. Bitch, I was pregnant all over again with myself, now presenting to the world somebody that I had not been my entire life. I stand up, I go to the bathroom mirror, I put my hands on the sink, and I just look at my face. I just look at my face and I'm like, bitch, you've been cosplaying as Mexican this entire time, and you knew on the inside that you didn't look Mexican, but when people would ask you, you didn't know what to say because that's what you were told your entire life. I was like, I've been out here lying to folks and they're probably laughing in my face. People would ask me my entire life what I was mixed with, how I was Mexican, oh, I had this Mexican name. They'd be like, you have to be mixed with black, or be like, oh, are you black and Mexican because of my name? Or basically they'd be like, who lied to you? Somebody's lying. I've been asked if I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican. I can see how maybe the idea of me being Afro-Latina would make sense to people based on looking at me. So I'm going through all of this and then it hits me, girl, you've realized now that your dad is not your biological father. But who is? Then I'm like, oh shit, like there's a whole nother man in the story that I got to figure out. So at this point, I had heard my mom get up from the table. I had heard her go outside to the backyard. I heard the back door shut. So I'm like, okay, it's safe to go out, and I don't even know what to do because I came into the bathroom half Mexican I walked into the bathroom half Mexican, kind of. Even though internally, obviously, I took this test for a reason, right? I was now walking out of the bathroom a new woman. Like, I was now half black, and I was very proud of that. I was so here's the thing. When I read these results, no part of me was angry or disappointed or upset. The only thing that really triggered me was now the fact that I had to figure out basically where I came from and who I actually was at the core of me. I had somebody ask me one time, what was your first reaction? Like, what did you first feel in your body whenever you got to the reports? I said the first thing I felt was relief. I can't explain it, but it was this, like, I could take this big deep breath because I finally knew who I was and I knew the truth. And I don't know how to explain it. I know there are going to be a lot of people who are like, girl, what the fuck? Why were you telling people you were Mexican if you knew on the inside? Because this is what I was conditioned to be. I never felt the need to question my parents. I couldn't understand exactly why I looked the way that I looked, but at the same time, I was so close to my dad who raised me that there was no doubt in my mind that this man was my father. And so whenever the doubt did start to creep in at an older age as an adult, I felt bad about it. I felt really guilty. Because I didn't know the truth, I just continued to tell people who I thought I was and who my parents told me I was. Eventually, when people would be like, oh, what are you mixed with? I'd be like, oh, just a mix of it, like just a lot of things. Because I was kind of like, that's whenever I was getting into this point of, I don't know what the truth is. So I walk out the bathroom door, I look at my dog, I'm like, I'm half black. I'm ready to tell everybody. I'm excited about this, but I'm also like, I need some deets. Like I need a full on story. Now, it may sound like I'm making a joke of it now. Right now I'm making it humorous, and parts of it were humorous, but also there was parts of it that I was still kind of numb. This was a lot for me to suddenly recognize, and I embraced it immediately. But at the same time, it was like an out-of-body surreal experience. Like I was now walking around seeing myself through other people's eyes, which was huge for me. I decided at this point, I'm not going to say anything to my mom right away. I just need some time to take this all in. I decide I'm gonna go to the gym, go work out. So before I go to the gym, I go into the kitchen. I'm about to make myself a protein shake, and I glance through the back door and see my mom hanging clothes on the line. So I go around to the back door and just stare at her for a little bit through the window. She can't see me, so I'm just watching her hang clothes on the line, play with the dog, and in my head, I'm like, this woman has been holding this in for 31 years. 31 years she has held on to some kind of secret. I don't know what the secret is yet, but she's held on to something. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around. In the next part, I will go into the conversation with my mom. It's getting juicy.
White people, it's your turn. If you woke up black, name one thing you would do that day. Now, disclaimer, this comment section was very, very respectful. They were not, you know what I'm saying, just like the other people for the black one. So, like, calm down, because I will block you. Make my butt do that jiggly thing. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Jordan, you made my side hurt. Helicopter. I'm assuming just the sound. But I honestly, somebody gonna have to break that one down for me. Because me, a black woman, I have no idea what you're talking about. First thing I do is check if my wee got bigger. Now listen, Timothy, you a real one for this, okay? You are a real one for this. And I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. Go get my hair done in micro braids. Y'all really want these braids, huh? You know, I don't blame you, because as you can see, a black girl in her braids, like, I get it. Laugh at a great joke while running around the house and not have to stand still. Wait a minute. Y'all have to stand still when you laugh? Like, do y'all just be standing there, you just, with posture and everything? Like, that's what y'all be. Y'all don't be, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't be like running around, basically like playing tag, beating folks up, laughing. It's like all the different varieties of ways that y'all just got salt and pepper on y'all laugh, huh? No season salt, no garlic and onion and thyme. And okay, well, bless you. I hope you get that opportunity for yourself. Not change the battery in my smoke detector. Black people, this cannot be our legacy. Go change that. You embarrassing us. Go change that battery in that smoke detector.
Can anyone relate to this? But I feel like the older I get, the blacker I get. Like, obviously, I was born black AF. I'm a black woman. I have always been a black woman. But I think growing up in white spaces, I spent so many of my formative years trying to fit in and trying to be like my white counterparts, hating certain parts of myself, wanting to change things about myself. But as you get older, you like blossom and you just like sink and lean into your blackness. Like, you want to be in black spaces, surrounded by beautiful black people, dating black men. Like, you just thrive in your blackness and you stop trying to fit in and you stop trying to assimilate. I just think it's such a beautiful evolution to finally just be comfortable being yourself and just being black as fuck. Like, ugh, I just love it for us.
I'm a black person from South America, specifically from Colombia, and I want to say this. Black people from the US are on a different level. Like, we literally need to learn from you guys when it comes to racism, inclusion, and everything that gravitate around race. You guys are on another level, because how is it possible that in every commercial ad on television, in almost every commercial, in almost every movie or show that goes on nationwide in this country, I see a black person? That's lovely. We don't have that in Colombia.
It took me 10 years to figure out I was black. When I was 8 years old, I moved to the United States. Before then, I had no concept of race. I had never even had a discussion about race because everybody around me looked like me. And as far as I was concerned, the whole world looked like me. So what was there to discuss? In fact, when I was born, I came out a little lighter than the village and the neighborhood was used to. And they told my mother to go get me tested to make sure that I wasn't being possessed by a demon. She didn't do that. So when she told me this story, I spent years fearing that I had actually been possessed by a demon this whole time. But that's another story for another time. Anyways, I'm in the United States. I'm learning English. I'm learning about the concept of race. I'm figuring out that really light-skinned little boy with the weird hair and the lips is actually not sick and dying. He's just white. I'm learning the names. I'm learning the labels. I'm figuring it out. But then something weird happened. As I learned the language and finally started understanding what the hell the people around me were saying, I realized that they kept referring to me as black. And I'm like, I'm not black, I'm Haitian. But I wasn't gonna tell them that because being Haitian in the early 2000s was not fun. And I was trying to assimilate. I was trying to get away from the bullying. I was trying to get away from the stereotypes. So I never corrected them. I never agreed because I didn't want to get caught lying, but I never corrected them. So then I'm like, okay, as long as I don't say anything, everything's fine. So as a result, I spent the next 10 years living in fear. Living in absolute fear that one day somebody was gonna figure out that I had been lying this whole time, that I was in fact not black but Haitian, that like and I'd have to I'd be shunned by the whole entire school. I would lose my reputation, non-existent as it was. I'd have to apologize at the end of the year. People would pull their trays away from me when I was walking by. They'd stop conversing and turn around and give me their backs when I was walking down the hall. I watched a lot of Disney movies, I don't know if you can tell, but I was afraid, right? And then one day, the worst happens. I'm talking to one of my good friends, and I admit to the fact that I'm Haitian. I let it slip. My deep, dark secret was now out in the open. And she just looks at me and goes, cool. That's kind of cool. And asking me questions. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my God, she's such a good friend. She's willing to keep this secret for me. She's willing to carry this to her grave. She is willing to, if the worst ever happens, stands next to me on that stage as I apologize at the end of the year. But no, I had gotten it wrong. The next day, she sees me down the hall, screaming at the top of her lungs. She goes, hey, my Haitian queen. Why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? We'll call her Sarah. Why would you do this to me, Sarah? Why would you betray me? Does our super hula connection mean nothing to you? Our ships have been sailing the same tumbler waters for years. Why would you betray me? But I said all of this with my eyes, and I could tell she didn't understand because she just kept on waving. Long story short, I never trusted her with another secret. Fast forward after that traumatizing set of 4 years. Fast forward, I'm in college and I decide, you know what? I'm gonna get right. I can't live like this. I can't keep living in fear. So my new, fresh, brand new set of friends, I went to school out of state. So there was no connections, no chance of someone from my high school being in my college. So I felt like I had a brand new start and that I could finally be myself. So I sat them down, I let them know, hey, I'm Haitian. And they're like, Okay, like that's cool. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're on the same page. They get it now. Like, I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I don't have to pretend to know all the references. I don't have to pretend to have grown up with all of like the 90s cartoons and the early 2000s cartoons, because I just got here. I got here in 2003. Like I didn't know, and then I had to spend years learning English. So all I knew was Dragon Tales and Arthur, you know? So then I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to lie. This is a fresh, brand new start. So one day, I'm at the cafeteria, like, and I overhear a conversation. And it's this girl talking about how she's tired of people using Black and African American interchangeably. My ears perk up. Because as far as my ESOL teacher was telling me, as far as I knew, y'all were the same. Black, African American, same damn thing. But she goes on to explain the difference between race and nationality and how she's so damn tired of people thinking that these things are the same thing and equating African American with Black. That was the moment I realized that I had been lied to, I had been fooled, I had been bamboozled, and actually I was Black this whole damn time. When I tell you I felt betrayed, when I tell you I felt mad, I wasted years, tiptoeing, pretending, years. And it was all for nothing. 10 years. 10 years. So now, whenever I see like a popular celebrity or like someone in the public eye, whenever I see them like deny the fact that they're Black and they're just like, I'm not Black, I'm X, insert their nationality, like some part of me is like, should I go in the comment section? Should I defend them? Should I like try to explain what they might have meant? And it's always, the answer is always no, because I did my time. 10 years of it.
I have albinism. And the only persons that I usually explain that to is little kids, because they're seeing a Black face on a white body with blonde hair, so it confuses them. They stay a little too long, or they're curious, I'll explain that to them. I don't waste my time with adults. One of the craziest compliments Jamaican men mostly tend to give me is, I love your color. Sir, what color? Like, stop trying to piss me off. You know I don't have any color. And they dead ass think that's a compliment. In my mind, I'm the color I'm supposed to be. As far as I'm concerned, I'm brown. Because if I didn't have albinism, I would be brown. My skin would be brown. So that's the color I am. Telling people I love your color is crazy work. It will never get you far. I don't date men that I feel have a problem with their complexion. Or men who I feel like are colorist. The Black men I date, they're mostly dark. And the reason for that is, I dated a boy in the, what grade was I? I was in the 8th grade. His name was David. He was brown. He had green eyes. His mother also had albinism. And everybody thought he was my brother. I didn't want to be walking down the street holding hands with a boy that people thought was my brother. So we broke up. Then, in 9th grade, this boy named Michael. Michael also had light eyes. And everybody also thought Michael was my brother. That was the last light boy that I ever dated. I wanted to be clear who I'm related to and who I'm not. Funny thing is, none of my brothers look like me. All my brothers are dark. But as a lighter complexion woman, I always made it my point to use my complexion and the privilege that comes with it to advocate for others, especially when I'm dating. Like, I don't allow colorist people around me. I don't teach my children to be colorists, and I don't have an ego regarding my complexion. And I think the reason because of that is technically I didn't know that I was light-skinned until I was 10 years old and I came to the United States. Where I'm from, we go based on your ethnicity, not based on your complexion. So initially, in 6th grade, when I got to New York, and everybody was like, what are you? They all thought I was from Jamaica because I had a Caribbean accent. But when the kids were asking me, what am I? They wanted to know, like, white, black, Hispanic, and I didn't understand the question. So finally, a little white girl, an Armenian white girl, told me, oh, I'm white, because she put her hand next to my hand, and she was like, see, you're white like me. So I went home telling my mother, hey, guess what? I'm white. And she said, you came out of my black pussy, you black. And that's how I found out I was Black.
I was making myself some lunch and I was having a daydream, as you do, and then I just started thinking about the moment when I found out that I was Black. And I just need to share this story. So this story starts off with me being about, I don't know, 6. I'm in year 1, maybe, I think, reception, year 1. I'm young anyway. And so to start off with, I knew my mum was black. My mum's dark skinned, black. I knew she was black. My dad, he's mixed race. He's very, very light skinned. And I just assumed he was white. I was young, allow me. And in my class, in my first primary school, there was black kids in my primary school, and there was white kids, and there was Asian kids. There wasn't any mixed race kids or any light skinned kids. So I looked at the black kids and I thought, I don't think I'm black. And then I looked at the white kids and I thought, I'm not white. And then I looked at the Asian kids and I thought, they're brown like me. Like, I must be Asian. Yeah, that makes sense. And my best friend at the time, she was from Bangladesh. Her name was Fatima. Big up Fatima. And she was Bangladeshi. And she was like, where are you from? I was like, I guess I'm Bangladeshi like you. I guess I'm Asian. She was like, yeah, makes sense. So we both just decided that I was Bangladeshi. And then I realised that she could speak this whole language. And I was like, wow, what are you speaking? And she was like, it's our language. And I was like, why didn't I know this language? And she was like, I don't know, it's a bit weird because you're Bangladeshi. It's a bit weird for you not to know this language. And I was like, how did you learn it? And she was like, my mum. And I was like, oh my God, my mum didn't teach me my language. This is horrible. So she's teaching me like Bangladeshi, how to say hello, how to say goodbye. Like, she's teaching me the lingo. I'm like, okay. And I'm feeling stressed as well. I'm not just learning it for banter. I'm learning about my culture that I need to catch up on. This is peak, but I'm going to get there in the end. Then I also deeped that Fatima had bindi. I hope I'm calling it the right thing. Bindi, the little, and I was like, oh, what's this? And she was like, oh, it's part of our culture. It's called a bindi. I think she said bindi. And I was like, oh, okay. So where did you get one from? I kind of need one then, because I'm Asian, remember? She was like, yeah, my mum just gives them to me. And I was like, okay, cool. My mum probably has some spare at home. Okay. So I went home. I was like, Mum, I need the thing. Like, where can I get one? The bindi. She was like, I don't have any, love. Like, sorry. And I didn't say this out loud because my mum's Jamaican, but I was like, wow. In my head, I thought, this woman is so ghetto. Like, how have you got a whole Asian child and you don't know how to have... Anyway, another day we're in school and we're talking about like who we're gonna marry, like if we're gonna...
I turned black when I decided to put on the fuchsia lipstick with the black eyeliner. That's when I turned black. And I used the brown gel to give myself a little baby swoop, the baby swoop. That's when I had decided as a teenager, not when I was born from a black mother or, was raised by a black father and had black sisters. It was when I put that lipstick and that gel on for the swoop. The swoop. That was when I turned black. That was it. Thanks for reminding me of the decision that I made. It's a great decision.
I woke up this morning and it was heavy on my heart that I owe my brothers an apology. The news created story after story that essentially our brothers were deserting us and that they were turning towards Trump and going to vote for Trump in higher numbers than ever seen before, which was a lie. Trump pulled the same number of black men as he did his last election. I believed all the stories. I got wrapped up in the hype. And you know why that's so crazy? Because I, Randy B, am the one who was always talking about how the media tries to manipulate us, how the media always shows the negativity within the black community. And I'm the one who knows exactly how they manipulate us to create separation between us. But I fell for it. And I became upset. And I did my little think pieces. I think I was always respectful. I always try to be respectful. But I came for y'all. I was upset. I was hurt. Because, with my brothers, I take it personally. I got too much love there not to take it personally. And I was wrong. And I am sorry that I got wrapped up, that I trusted mainstream media, who has never, for the most part, reflected us in a good light or has ever done anything or written stories that unite us, for the most part. So I am sorry, and that's on me, and I will be more careful in the future. Black men, for the most part, stood by us. Are there the outliers? There's always going to be. But for the most part, brothers voted for us. And many are saying that they were voting in support of our reproductive rights, us as women, and they were voting for a black woman. May this election remind us of how united black people are. We may disagree all the time about things because we're family and families do that. But when it's time to unite and come through, we come through. We showed up for each other. We are a team. I don't want us to focus so much on how we're not good or the dissension between the two of us, between black men and black women. I really would like for this to be a time of healing for all of us. Because if we don't have each other, we don't have nothing. If we didn't learn nothing about this election, we need to have learned that. And so thank you, black men, for standing by us. I'm sorry. And I hope that we continue to build upon this. We use this as a moment to get even stronger. My love to all of you out there. We need each other.
One thing I found truly mind-boggling was until I got to college, I did not know that black people are only about 12% of the U.S. population. And because I grew up in Mississippi and Tennessee, and the percentage is much higher. But then when I got to college, I was like, there are so many people who have never been around black people before. And you can very easily spot them just simply by their reaction to when a black woman gets her hair done. I was at kickball the other day, and my friend, she came in and it was her birthday. She got her hair done. It looked great. And then my other friend looked at me and he was like, oh my God, I never realized her hair was that long. Don't piss me off. This was like week 7. Where the fuck do you think she hid that hair the first 6 weeks of kickball? Genuinely. You talk to this woman. Don't piss me off.
I'm sorry I'm black first. I am sorry that I have to put the color of my skin in front of everything when I make decisions on how I speak, who I speak to, and how I value myself. I am sorry that people in this country decided that my blackness was not worth saving or not even worth protecting. I am sorry that during the election, I saw the safety of my people come first before everybody else. I am sorry that I knew that in order for me to speak for other people, that my blackness had to be safe first. I am sorry that other people in other races and other cultures felt like I shouldn't come first to me. I'm sorry that I wanted to protect my people here. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry for what I did. But what I am really sorry for is that y'all did everything in y'all power to shut black women up during the election. And then we shut up and then y'all became mad. And now the movement that you fought so hard for really doesn't exist anymore in this country. Why? Because your freedom of speech is gone. There's a man in office that never cared about any of us. And you have no one to blame but yourself. There were only really 2 candidates, and one hates everybody. That is not straight, white, and male. And the other was a way better choice than that one.
When I was 7 years old, I traveled to Nigeria with my family for the first time. And everywhere we went, people were screaming at me, my brothers, and my mom, Anyacha! Anyacha. Anyacha, which means white person. In the 90s, it was pretty unusual to see a white person. So it was almost like when kids see Santa Claus and scream and start chasing Santa Claus. Kids would chase our car as we would drive through small towns and stuff like that. So even if I ignore the other 53 African countries and all the other dark-skinned countries of the planet, there are at least 200 million people who consider me to be a white person. I was having to explain and convince people that my dad was my dad. In the same way that in the US my whole life, I've had to explain and convince people that my mom is my mom. I realized that a society will identify you as whatever is different about you. In a white society, I'm identified by my blackness. And in a black society, I'm identified by my whiteness. It's also a matter of sheer practicality. Like in the US, a mixed person identifying fully as white isn't going to go over well because this country, having been so racist for so long, mixed people are just not as likely to be accepted in white circles as we are to be accepted in black circles. And so it makes sense why most of us identify as black in the United States. And I actually remember as a kid, growing up and being really confused when mixed people would say that they were black, but they wouldn't say that they were also white. I'm like, yeah, you are black, but like, what about like you're half Mexican too? Or you're, you know what I mean? Like we were all lumped together. And then in school, we learned about the racist one drop rule ideology. And it suddenly hit me that even though everyone knows that this rule is racist, everyone still follows it up till today, right up to your comment. The idea that any amount of black makes you fully black and takes away any of your whiteness just reinforces the conflation of whiteness and purity. That being said, I'm sensitive to the history of some people being like, no, fuck my white side because that was non-consensual. Like this is from rape and trafficking where I am not proud of the people who begot me on my white side. And so I disown them and I identify fully as black. I totally respect and support that and I would probably do the same. But since my whiteness comes directly from my mother through a consensual circumstance, out of respect for her and all my white ancestors, I claim what I literally am. Luckily, it does not matter to me at all how Americans see me, how Nigerians see me, how random people on TikTok see me. Growing up as a very literal kid, I did the math and I was like 50% equals 50%. I am 50% of each. And so I've never claimed one more than the other. And even though I'm damn near 40, I still encounter moments that just baffle me. Like the other day, I was talking to another mixed guy and he was like, well, if you went to Europe, white people wouldn't claim you. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, why do I need their permission? I am white. Like science doesn't need them to agree with it. I know race is a construct, right? But if we're defining it by groupings of genetic ethnicities, then I am factually 50% European. It doesn't matter what the Europeans say about that. I've literally never had that thought. I don't care if they claim me or not. And I don't think anyone else should give a fuck if anyone claims them or not. If you're mixed and you claim whatever like DNA that you have, like fucking claim, who cares? If they are super racist against you or like being total dicks and you're like, fuck them, I don't claim them, cool. But if you want to claim them, but you feel like you don't have permission or something, that's bullshit. You are what the fuck you are. So when I first saw your comment, I was like, the fuck? But you probably have good intentions. You're just out of line. Like, you tell people what you are. You don't tell them what they are. They tell you what they are. And like I said, I'm half black, half white.
I didn't know I was black either for a long time. I found out I was black when I was 8 years old. This is my coming out story. I was walking home from the bus stop with my best friend Stacy, who is Jewish. She still is. And these white high school kids drove by and yelled out the N-word at us. And I turned to Stacy and I was like, how could they call you that? And she was like, they weren't talking to me. And I was like, then who are they talking to? Yeah. And I went home to my parents and I was like, Mama, Papa, I think I'm black. And they were like, no, man, we're Jamaican. And I was like, I think you're black too.
I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate for this, but let's talk about why I feel like being mixed. I'm half black, half white, by the way, 50-50, it's what I am, is harder than being one race. Because growing up, I got bullied a lot for being black. I went to a predominantly white school. I was one of the only black girls. Not even kidding you. And I know I'm not full black, but I am half black. Everyone else was white. I grew up in Utah. I was adopted. White parents. White family. Actually, there was a lot of races. I have an Asian sister and a brother from the Marshall Islands and a sister that's Mexican. Okay. But growing up, I got bullied all the time for being black. As an adult, I get bullied for not being black enough. I'm not even kidding you. I got braids because sometimes I like to do that because it's easier for my hair to manage. I have really curly hair and it helps my hair grow. I like it. And then I get bullied for that. Like, you're a white girl with braids. And then I silk press and do my hair. And then it's like, oh, the whites are going to take this away from us too. Like, why are you, silk pressing? You guys, what's it going to be? Like, I've gotten bullied for being too white and I've gotten bullied for being too black. Once again, I would just rather be on one side, if I'm being completely honest. I would rather be, but I'm not. I'm in the middle, which means the black people that think I'm not black enough bully me for being white, and the white people that think I'm not, that think I'm not white enough bully me for being black. What a beautiful time in this world to be alive. Like, what a beautiful time. And guess what? Like, yes, there have been, like, I have half siblings who are half black. I don't have any full siblings, but half siblings. I know people that are half black. And I will say, my features, and the texture of my hair is really curly, and I do have dry texture, but it's not like 4C hair. It's not super curly. So, yeah, I guess the genetic pool made me more white looking. I don't know. I have no control over that. Do you guys know what it's like to get bullied for something you have literally no control over? What? I had no control over any of this. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I can wear my hair curly. I'm proud that I can wear my hair straight. I love my skin tone. And I will say my skin tone right now is actually pretty light because it's been the winter, so I have not even been in the sun one time. But my skin will get dark enough, and then maybe I'll be black enough for ya. The society is just absolutely so twisted. Like, what's it gonna be, Pick a side, please.
Y'all need to just go ahead and stop trying to insult black content creators on here. Because we grew up black. You know what I'm saying? The only way to know if somebody really loves you is if they cut your ass. You ever had somebody call you a no-tooth turtle? You ever get to school and have people ask you if you was clapping with powder before you got here? If not, then calling me pressed or lame is not going to hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Just because you didn't like what I said. I grew up black. You know what I'm saying? Your mother and your father cut your ass in a black household. Your cousins, it be your own people. Y'all think y'all gonna hurt us? Be fucking for real. We laughing to the bank, buddy. Okay? So just forget about it.
I totally enjoyed it, honestly. Now I can imagine how Black Americans actually feel in America, right? When they are often told, oh, this, that, and that. Especially the ones who schooled in white schools or who were living in dominantly white communities. The day as a child, you begin to feel, oh, I'm black. How do you feel? It's really, really amazing. I've seen so many white people too who said the day they are going to wake up and find out they're white, they're blacks, what they are going to do. Somebody said she's going to go and make her hair. She's going to do cornrows. Some people said they're going to make braids. It's so amazing. I want to see us in the comments. Do not forget, it's Global Gist with BJ. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.